Hey everybody, I thought I would create this short video tutorial that explains how to judge the blue chips. So let me share my screen and we'll get going. So the first thing that's going to happen, you will get an email from Film Freeway that basically gives you access into the blue chip account as a sub user. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click right there, and it's going to take you to Film Freeway, and it's going to have you set up your account. Basically, that just means creating your own password and confirming that password, and then it will take you to Film Freeway. Just like that, and you can see right there at the top right-hand corner is the little blue chip logo. So that lets you know you're in the right spot. So once you've done that, you're going to click on this submissions tab right here, and that is going to open up something that looks like this. You're now in Film Freeway as a sub user for the blue chips, so you are ready to start judging. So the first thing you're going to notice in Film Freeway here, you've got at the top of the screen box that's going to show you all of the submissions that you will be judging. If I scroll down, this will show me this complete list of all of the submissions. So this right now is 28 submissions, and you can see all of them right there. So anytime you click this throughout the process, it's just going to always bring up that window with all of the submissions. So just keep that in mind. All right. So before we get going any further with Film Freeway, I want to click on this spreadsheet that I created. Now, as a judge, you should get something similar to this from your judging coordinator. It will either be just a printout on a piece of paper, or it'll be hopefully some sort of spreadsheet like this that you can use. This is a Google Sheet that I created from a list of judging assignments. This is in particular is for Norse Media to judge. So this lists all of their entries, or all of the entries that they're going to judge. There's 37 of them. And I know earlier we saw 28, but I'll come back to that and explain why that says 28 and not 37. So, for this example, this judge is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 categories to judge, and that may or may be similar to what you have, maybe a few more. They only have 4 categories here because there are a lot of entries in several of their categories. So I'm going to kind of refer to this as my cheat sheet, and because I'm going to utilize this as we are going through the judging process in Film Freeway. Mainly I'm going to use it for a couple things. This column of numbers right here are the ID numbers that we're going to use. This is just another area where each title is listed, so that'll come in handy as well. The good thing about having a spreadsheet on your computer is you can copy and paste things. So that'll come in handy when we start judging. All right, so let's jump back over to Film Freeway. And as I said before, if I click on this tab right here, it's going to show me all of the entries, all that I'm going to judge. And again, it says 28. There's no particular order in this list. It's kind of random. You might have 1 or 2 that match the category you want to judge. There might be, the next one might be from a different category that you're going to judge. But these are all in the categories that you will be judging. So since it is kind of, there's no real order, if I'm going to go quickly to a certain category, that's pretty easy to do in Film Freeway. If I just go over here to this drop down under categories, it's going to list all of the categories that are within Film Freeway. Okay, so let's say I want to go ahead, I'm going to go back to my cheat sheet, and I'm going to see that the first set of entries I'm going to judge are live remote programming in the professional division. So I click back over to Film Freeway. I go to this category drop down and I scroll down till I find live remote programming pro. This one's a little tricky because the word pro and non-pro doesn't show up until you kind of hover over it. So now I've got live remote programming pro. I'm going to click that box and I'm going to apply a filter. Once I do that, now this window just shows me the entries that are in that category, and there are 14 entries. So they all appear here. So if I come back up and click this show all 28 submissions, click that, it opens them all back up again. If I come back over here, I can pick the category that I want to judge. So this just kind of getting you familiar with how Film Freeway works as far as going back and forth between all of your submissions and picking a certain submission that you want to watch, to judge. So that's it for that. After you've judged a few of these, you'll get pretty comfortable with going back and forth and choosing a category and click it. The reason there's nothing there is there was nothing entered underneath that category. So if I go back to the live remote programming, I believe it's this one. There. Nope. Oh, live studio programming. As you can see, I clicked on the wrong thing. But you'll get familiar with how this works. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go ahead and choose live remote programming pro. There we go. Click that, apply filter, and there's my 14 entries. I click back to my cheat sheet and I can see that I do indeed have 14 entries here. I'll go back to the first one and I'm ready to judge. So before we start judging, let me go back to the cheat sheet here and just point out one more thing. Before you start judging one of your categories, it's a good idea to understand what that category is. Each blue chip category has its own definition. They're pretty simple, but hopefully as part of this judging information that you receive from the judging coordinator, they'll also give you a list of explanations or descriptions of each category so you're familiar with it. So just as an example, I've gone ahead and copied over this description of what live remote programming is. This is right off the Blue Chip Film Freeway website. So you want to just read this and make sure you have an understanding of the category that you're getting ready to judge. Like I said, they're usually pretty basic, but take a look at it just so you know. This could come into play as you're judging later, and we'll go over that. So live remote programming, first cablecast live from a venue offsite from an access center's facility. Pretty straightforward. At least we've now read it and we have an idea of what we're getting ready to judge. All right, so I'm gonna go back over to submissions, my submissions page. I'll click on this first one. So the first thing I wanted to point out is, if you look at this category right here, underneath there's actually a couple different categories listed. We're gonna judge, obviously, it under the live remote programming, not the virtual events pro category. Someone else will judge it underneath that. So the reason also I bring this up is, as an example, actually I'm gonna skip back. I'm just gonna pick out one of these that I know is in multiple categories that you will be judging. And well, in particular, the folks from Norse Media, because they have these two categories. So this entry is going to be judged in live remote and sports event. So it's actually would be considered two entries, but it's one video in two different categories. So that's why the number of submissions is 28 as opposed to this number of 37. Basically, that's telling me that a few of the entries that I'm going to judge are in a couple different categories. So in Film Freeway, each submission, no matter how many categories it's entered in, just shows up one time. So that's the difference, and that's why the numbers could vary. All right, so let's go back. Since I've clicked all of my submissions, I now have a full page of all of them. So I'm going to go back to my Live Remote Programming Pro. Apply filter. All right, now I'm back to my 14 Live Remote Programming Pro submissions. So I'm gonna go back and click on that first one. Okay, so the first thing you'll see, the top up here is gonna be the link to watch the video. It could be a YouTube link, it could be a Vimeo link, it could be a Facebook link. In particular, this one, I'm gonna click on it and it's gonna open up another media platform to watch a video on. It's simple to do. I can watch this through this video platform. So that's going to give me the ability to watch the video. I'm going to just click back here. So depending on the entry, it could be like I said, it'll be a different format or a different media platform, but they're all available for you to click on and watch. So let's scroll down here to find out more details about this entry. This is a pretty good example of the entry showing a pretty detailed overview of the video. This would explain a little bit about the producer's intent on making the video and producing the video. It'll give you some details about it. So this is a pretty long overview, which is good. I think these help when you're judging if you do have some verbiage to go along with what you're going to judge. So you're going to want to read that over. Not all the videos that you're going to judge will have one of those, but just keep that in mind. If it does, you're going to want to read that. The credits really is not necessarily necessary for judging the blue chips, or the specifications are not necessary. So you can pretty much just go by those two. You don't have to worry about looking at those. But you do want to check out the custom form, because it has several questions that could be important, especially this one right here, give a brief description. So this is pretty much the same as the overview. It could be the same in this particular instance. It looks like it is. Basically, same information on the overview that is in this brief description. You might find where an entry does not have an overview, but it has a pretty detailed description. So you'll definitely want to read that as well. But all this information, it can be useful to you as you're judging. Okay, so I've read a little bit, or I've read all this info. I kind of know what the producer has in mind. So now I'm going to go ahead and watch the video. Click back on the link. Now this particular video is pretty long. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes. So obviously I'm not going to watch this entire video. Just don't have that kind of time. So since it's such a long video, you're going to want to pick out 3 spots to watch. Typically at the beginning of the video, in the middle, and then towards the end. Just kind of gives you an overall view of the video, so you can see different aspects of it. I mean, feel free to, click at wherever you really want to watch, and watch as much as you want to watch. But that's the beauty about things like YouTube, Vimeo, Internet Archive, is you can kind of scroll over and you can kind of see where different things happen in the video. So you might, pick something up where it looks like there's a different sort of production technique that you want to check out. Maybe you see a full screen graphic or something. But the point is you want to watch, a good representation of the video so you can judge it fairly. So now that you're done watching the video, you're ready to judge it. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to close some of these windows. Sometimes when you do click on this link, it will open up a new window like it just did there. I'm going to go ahead and close that just to kind of clean up my browser. If this is a video, a YouTube video, it'll basically just play right there. All right, so now I'm ready to judge. So if I scroll down, I'm going to see this little box that says Rate Project. So that's what I'm going to end up clicking on to start my judging process. But before I do that, I'm going to hop back to my cheat sheet, and I'm going to remember that I am judging live remote programming professional. So the first one happens to be that budget and finance public hearing. So I remembered that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click, I'll highlight that real quick. I'm going to click on this ID number right there. That's important. I'm going to need to put that, I'm going to need to use that when I start judging. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it. Again, that's the beauty of having the spreadsheet on my computer. Go back over to the submissions, and I'm going to go ahead and click this Rate Project. And now it opens up this form for me to start the judging process. So starting from the top, this overall rating, we're actually going to come back to at the very end. So we're going to skip that for now. We're going to look at these 4 questions. So that first question right there, entry ID number. So that's that number that I just copied. I'm going to paste it right here. And I remember the title. I sort of remember the title, but since I have my cheat sheet, I can come back to here and I can click right there and I can copy it and I can paste it. Pretty simple. Now, if you just have a paper copy in front of you, you will just have to type that out. But make sure you type it as it is on your paper. Same with the entry ID numbers. Category, live remote programming. Division, professional. Pretty simple, just a couple simple drop downs to choose from. All the categories are there, and your 3 levels are right there. Pretty simple. Next question is a pass-fail question. Basically, this is asking you, does this video or does this entry fall underneath this category or within this category? So is this a live remote video? And having watched it, I'm going to say it is. Pretty much most of these videos are entered in the correct category, but on occasion there might be some strange incident where it is not. For instance, let's say you're judging religious service category and your entry is a football game. Probably not the correct category for that video to be entered in. So if that were the case, you would select no, and like that. And you're probably going to have to go through all of these and go ahead and zero them out. If you don't, and you go to finish up down here, it's going to say you need to select some stuff. So if you do click no, keep in mind you will have to answer the rest of these questions. But we're going to go under the assumption that it is a yes. Most of them will be. Again, that also comes back to having read the description of the category that I did at the beginning. So as long as you kind of understand each category, you can answer this question. So once I've answered that question, from here on out, everything's basically numerical. You got questions about the content, about creativity, the production aspect of it. So technically, how sound was this video? So you want to go ahead and just do this drop down. Pretty simple. You'll choose number. You'll choose your score, from 0 being, really not good, and 9 being the best video you've ever seen. Maybe not that extreme, but you get the idea. So we're just going to go ahead and just start clicking some numbers because we do want to get through the process. So I need to fill out numbers for each question. Don't worry, I'm not judging this video. This is just an example. I just want to show you how it all comes out in the end. All right, so I get down to this last question right here, this overall impression question. And this basically is the same as this overall rating question, or number, I should say. So once you've made a decision on this number, you want to make sure that you come back up here to the overall rating and choose the same number here. So that number, your overall rating number, should be the same as your overall impression number. Once I've done that scoring, then I've got the option to leave some comments. So if there's something I liked particularly about the video and I want to let the producer know, I can write it here. If there is something about the video that I thought maybe they could improve on, I'll put that here. Anything additional, I can put that down here. Just keep in mind to keep your, be encouraging when you do leave comments, obviously, especially if there's something that can be improved on. You want to be constructive and provide some useful ideas, some useful information that the producer can incorporate next time they make a video. So once that's done, so I've added my comments, made sure I've put scores on for all of these, I can click rate. Okay, and now I'm done judging that video. Tells me right there, my name will pop up here. This is just that overall rating that I had you choose. And I'm done. Now, if I want to edit this, I can actually edit this. Let's say I watch a few more videos and I decide I want to change something about my score for this one. I can just click edit and come back, and I can change my score. If I want to increase or decrease the number, I can. Maybe I realize, oh, I want to add how great something was, or another improvement. I can go ahead and do that. The point is you can edit your rating. If you do make an edit, just click update and it'll give you the chance to update. So that's pretty much it as far as how to judge an entry in Blue Chips. Getting back to the next entry, there's a couple things you can do. If I click next submission, it should take me to the next video that's in order of that list of, I believe, 14 videos that I have to judge within this category. If I'm not sure, all I have to do is hit the submissions button and it takes me back, and then of course it will show me all of my submissions. But I can go again to my little drop down, go to the category, and apply filter. Now I'm back to my 14 submissions in that right category. So again, once you've judged a few of these, you will get familiar and comfortable with going back and forth, understanding the difference between clicking that button and clicking the drop-down category button there. So hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, contact your judging coordinator. And if you're a judging coordinator watching this video, you can contact me. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful.